Well, hello everybody, this is Lisa's Limitless Life, back at you with another video. Today is Wednesday, April the 6th, 2022, and I'm back again with another video. I'm going to sit here and get somebody else's take on the situation that happened with Will Smith at the Academy Awards. So I'm gonna sit here. I want you to grab your tea, your coffee, your drinks, whatever you enjoy drinking, and sit down and let's chit chat. So on today's video, I have Robert Walker, who's going to give his opinion or his take on what happened that night at the Academy Awards with Will Smith and Chris Rock. And he's going to break it down in his way and give us I'll say, his understanding of what he saw and what he understood. So we're going to get right into it. So Robert, go ahead.
They're not going to see my face. They're going to hear my voice.
Okay. You're not going to see his face. He don't want to be on camera, yeah. but you will be hearing his voice.
Yeah. Everybody on there talking about Jada. With Jada look. Everybody looking at Jada as if Will Smith turned around and looked at Jada. There's no evidence on the tape that he looked at Jada. So everybody is drawing upon the presumption there afterward. It's the reason why he got up. But everything he did is clearly right there in the tape. Right there for his reasoning why he got up. All you got to do is look at the tape very, very closely and take everything in. And when you take everything in, you got to look at it from Will Smith's point of view. Cannot look at it from your point of view. You have to sit there, put your mind in Will Smith's place, and see how he saw these things unfold. Okay. And one key indication about what had happened when he turned around after he gave the joke, after Chris Rock gave that joke, Chris Rock laughed, and he heard the response from the audience, and he was overwhelmed that he got the response that he got. Then he turned over to Will Smith, and he said something in the nature of, "That was the nice one."
Right, he sure did.
Those lines. Something about that was the nice one. Whatever he said, it indicated that he had said something more.
Right.
And there's two possible indications behind that. Now, it was an indication that he could have had more jokes that wanted to reveal.
Okay.
About
could have had more jokes that he was trying to get out.
Or it also revealed that either they had prior conversation.
Okay.
Because I'm asking myself, why did he turn directly to Will Smith and make the response? It wasn't a response to the crowd,
right.
It was a response to Will Smith, because he turned directly to Will Smith and he says somewhere along the nature of, "That was the nice one."
Right.
And then that's what triggered Will Smith to get up. See, everybody think that Will Smith was triggered when he turned over and looked at Jada. Jada didn't have anything to do with Will Smith getting up, in my opinion.
Okay.
And what he got up for, because something was being directed toward him. It was almost like Chris Rock was talking the double language. He was talking one language that would be perceived by the audience, and another language that only Will Smith would understood.
Oh, okay.
You see?
So you're saying basically that you believe that it was more than one joke that he could choose from. He chose that one and said that was the nice one.
Yeah. It was almost as if Chris Rock and Will Smith had a previous conversation before the awards began, and Will Smith said to Rock, look, don't talk about my wife.
Right.
To some extent. It was almost as if, this is what I gathered from Chris Rock.
Okay.
But now, when I look at the events, I'm looking at it from Will's perspective. How did Will feel when he backed out of that deal? Will was angry that he backed out of that deal.
Yes. He was angry that he had told him that he was not going to go there with him.
Right. He was not going to go there having that joke.
And then he turned around and did it anyway.
He must have said he was not going to tell that joke, but he told the joke anyway. And then he said, well, that was the nice one.
Right.
You know, that was the nice one that he had to say. That's what I'm getting out of that. That he basically was communicating to Will saying, look, that was the nice one.
Right.
That I, decided to do. And that pissed Will off because Will, he already had just said that he had other jokes, but that was the nice one.
So what about the fact that
the nice
you
one
said...
that allowed people to laugh?
Okay.
I'm thinking. Now hold on for a second, because I
Okay.
want to point out all the key components now, and then you can respond. Now, the thing is that after he told that joke, that triggered Will to get upset and get up there, and I think Will was, in his mind, that he was just going to go up there and say something to him at that time.
Right.
He's going to go up there and challenge him on the verbal and on the joke laughter things. Okay, you're going to bring me out. You're going to bring out the best of me. And so on the way up there, Chris Rock sort of laughed like, uh-oh. He says, uh-oh. He's laughing at the same time.
Right.
And said, uh-oh. Here come, hold on for a second. Let me get this phone here.
Okay. We're briefly interrupted, but we're going to get right back to it in 1
Call
moment.
right back in about 5 minutes. All right, hold on. All right, now look. So, he turned to Chris, turned to Will Smith. Will Smith is on his way up, and he says, what's that? What's his Serena Williams' father's name?
Richard?
Yeah, he said, Richard.
Right. He sure did.
Richard.
Right. He actually called Will Smith Richard.
He was calling Will Smith Richard, but he saw Will Smith in character. Because Will Smith, he had already ticked, he come up. But then when he said, Richard, at that precise moment, Will Smith clicked again psychologically.
Right.
And he fell into character of Richard.
Right.
He come into character of like Richard. And he was wanting to control it, but I tell you something, Will probably ain't telling the world that he have a hard time coming back to himself after playing characters.
Right.
That's why Will is so good at playing characters, because he emits himself. He emits himself mentally, psychologically, physically, and spiritually into a character of another person.
Right.
And it's hard to come out of that when you do that as an actor. Those are your best actors who have the ability to do that.
Right, I hear you.
So when he tapped into that, that character, and been playing that character for long, he's been trying to come back to himself. But even Chris Rock is aware of it. That's why Chris Rock said, Richard. Richard.
Right.
When he said that, he said basically Richard's character was coming at him. He knew he had tricked. He was playing psychological games with Will while Will was sitting there, and only he knew it, but he knew he ended up triggering that Richard to come out.
Right.
And when Richard came out, it wasn't Will Smith that went up there.
Exactly.
It was Richard that came out, that character.
Right.
Because Will got up to go up there to have a conversation.
Yes, I believe he went up
there. But
there.
when he on his way, when he turned around and said Richard, with a combination, now look at this. You got to look at Chris Rock's physical appearance. He had one leg slightly back. He had bent forward. Everyone want to say it was the light, but in no time he had physically moved his eyes into Will Smith's direction when that was an indication he could see.
Exactly.
And the way that the stage is set up, regardless of the lights that is flashing at them, the cameras and the lights, they can see the people in the first row.
Right.
They may not be able to see out in the audience, but they much further, but they can see the people in the first and second, maybe third row, perhaps. So, as Will was on his way up there, Chris Rock has got his chin out. And that chin to me represented like a little kid licking their tongue out at him.
Right.
Antagonizing him on the way up, like, what you gonna do? You ain't gonna do nothing. I'm at the awards. I'm on stage. I know you ain't gonna do nothing to hurt your career.
Right, right.
And Will snapped between those two combinations of being called Richard and being antagonized by his, like a kid would have his tongue out. He said, stuck his chin out, like you ain't gonna do nothing. And when he went up there, in that instant, Richard just came out, the character of Richard.
Right.
And Richard slapped him. And I can't fault Will for that. So there was no real, I don't know how to describe this when you talk about intent, but there was the intent, the legal terminology of intent, the way intent is used in the courts, that intent to slap Chris Rock with malice was not there.
Okay.
But the intent to slap Chris Rock stemming out of the character of Richard, the psychological thing, in that moment, that was there. And I think Will recognized that, because in his speech he said, basically in his apology, he said that was not the man that he wanted to be. Right. That's not the man so he was struggling with changing characters. A lot of people don't see that. They saw everything else. And they basically said, yeah, well, Chris Rock, Will Smith definitely didn't have no legal right, and no one should come up and be angry about a joke. But I don't think that was the joke was about his wife. I think that Chris Rock was antagonizing Will Smith on the stage. Among things that was much further. I'm not saying it justifies it, but it explains it. Now, what do you want to ask me?
I was gonna ask you when he first started doing the comedy thing that he did. He started first with, I believe, Denzel Washington, and he did a kind of low joke to him too, in the sense of I think he mentioned something about training day.
I like Chris Rock. There's just some things about Chris Rock that I don't like. When he first started out, I didn't like his level of education. Some of the jokes he said was offensive in ways that were demeaning to people. And so if you're going to tell the joke, and he's very talented, especially for black women with bald heads, it was a way that he could have told that joke that would have made every approval of every black woman and still gain the support of black women without being demeaning and demoralizing. Because he's very artistic in that way. But his ignorance of some of the social issues that go on in the black community, especially with black women, has allowed him to tell that joke in a way that was demeaning. Right. Now, he could do much better than that. Because I heard him tell other jokes that were the same way that was kind of demeaning. But he's still a professional comedian. And comedians ought to have the right to make mistakes. They ought to be given a little bit of liberty for that. That's Roberta calling you back. Maybe you want to
that's Helen.
Talk to your
Excuse
viewers.
me for one moment. I'm going to answer this phone. I'm going to get back to you guys.
Hello?
Okay, I'm back once again with the rest of Robert's take on what happened at the Oscars.
Yeah, I want to basically say this too about comedians, because comedians ought to be able to have the right to make mistakes. That is, that they have to learn their craft. And a lot of times they have to interact with audiences. They have to be able to understand when they make jokes that are very sensitive, and so they can perfect their craft and be better at it. So they need to be protected. No one has a right to walk up to any comedian. I don't care how many mistakes they make.
Angie.
Or I don't care how offensive the joke is, that they don't have. No one deserves to be treated with brutality and violence while working on their job, trying to perfect their craft and make people laugh. Now, on the other hand, with regard to Will Smith, I don't think Will Smith was the one that struck him. It's in character. And that's Richard was the one that struck him. If you can get my meaning. Sometimes when you immerse yourself so much in a character, so deeply in a character like that, it's the character that take over the physical components of the person's body. I talked about this a lot in one of my book that I wrote, but nevertheless, that's what I believe that happened. It was the character of Richard that basically slapped him. I think Will Smith on his way up to that stage was going up there to be Will Smith to challenge him, because Will Smith, as we all know Will Smith, would not have violently struck Chris Rock. The Will Smith we knew that went up on stage and made some joke and laughter and came down and probably would have tarnished or made Chris Rock look bad. or would have been the challenge between the two of them. But that Richard character came out. So that was the one who struck Chris Rock. And again, I'm going to say this. Chris Rock chose not to press any charges, criminal charges. So he himself felt there was something wrong. Because if a person really wanted to press charges and felt that they did nothing wrong, they press charges.
And I agree with that.
So he decided
because I don't think he exactly. He didn't press charges because he didn't take what Will Smith did seriously.
No, he
didn't take it offensively.
Listen, he knew that he did something wrong himself.
Okay, right.
See,
to bring that reaction out of Will.
The guilt in him would not allow him to press charges because he knew he was the one that was causing that, and he caused that character to come out.
Right.
Will Smith like that. He's an actor too now. He doesn't act.
Exactly. He's not just a comedian. Yeah, and that's what I think people are overlooking. That he's an actor as well. Listen,
you cannot get into a character, learn a particular character, crafty, for 8-9 months. And then when the project is over, just come back to yourself. You got to find your way back to yourself. So Chris Rock is familiar with that, and Chris Rock knew that the things he was taunting him with, the secret things behind closed doors that the regular audiences didn't know.
Right.
You know. Yeah. Y'all got to look at that video real carefully.
Yeah. So, having said that, you guys, I'm gonna end the video and just like, comment.
I want to say this too about that.
He had one more other thing to say.
I'm gonna say this before you close that. Everybody looked at Jada Pinkett as if Jada said something and communicated to Will Smith. Like I said, there's no evidence of that in that videotape. Or that Will looked over and saw her face and decided she needed to be protected. There's no evidence of that. All I see in the video is Will was focused, his head was pointed straight ahead. He was laughing at first, and then he stopped laughing. When the joke was told about Pickett, he was laughing.
Right.
When the joke began to talk about him, he stopped laughing. Okay. So I don't think it had anything to do with Jada in his mind psychologically. I know what he said was one thing. But I think what happened was, because I'm looking at it from his point of view, that man up there on that stage is talking about me now.
Right.
He just switched everything around in that acceptance speech. Yeah.
So on that, I'm not going to keep you guys. I'm going to see you guys in the next video. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next video.